And I have 8 cities in the district I represent. So it's part of Prairie Village. We have part of Mission. We have all of Fairway, Roland Park, Mission Hills. We have Westwood Hills, and Mission Woods. So I appreciate my mayors and city council members coming today. The 25th district has a lot of exciting things happening. I understand that the city of Fairway is proud to claim 100% occupancy in our retail space. And we've grown the office park occupancy in 2008 was down around 40%, and we're up nearly 80% today. So things are happening in that area. Sales tax revenues are exceeding expectations. I think the city of Westwood has just voted to reduce their mill levy because their sales tax revenues are better than expected. We are home to 5 communities that have signed on to Google Fiber, and I think that's exciting for us. We have become a hub of IT activity, which is good for the economy. I attended a groundbreaking last week at the site of the Mission Gateway project. The East Gateway has been 8 years in development, and I'm excited to see that we are finally underway. That's a terrific economic driver for that area. It's been a vacant lot for far too long, and I have fond memories of my excursions to the old Mission Mall, and so that's exciting to witness. I've had meetings this interim with our new superintendent in the Shawnee Mission School District, Dr. Jim Hinson, and I think that Shawnee Mission can lead the way in some new ways of doing business that might set a nice example for districts around the state. Through the summer, I've been reading and learning more about school finance in other states around the country. I think it's important to know how things differ elsewhere, how other states do it. Why is Kansas always mired in lawsuits? And so I am continuing the process of reading and learning and trying to grow in my role as state representative.
The acting director of the Juvenile Justice Authority came in front of our committee, and while we were looking at our budget, one number stood out to a few of us, and that was the amount of money that was being spent per student inside the schools, inside the prisons. And that number was anywhere from $15,000 to $18,000 a kid. Now, if you contrast that, what we spend on our other public schools, or our public schools, which include all the bricks and mortar, the busing, janitorial services, lunches, the whole gamut, it's anywhere from $12,500 to $12,700 total all in, which I'm sure there's some numbers that can confirm or that or be close to that. But this 18 million, which totaled, or 18,000, which totaled $5 million, was just for the education. It was just for the teachers, just for the curriculum. But we asked the question, when was the last time that was competitively bid? And to our surprise, the answer was, it's not competitively bid. So we asked a follow-up question. Why? And the answer was equally surprising when we were told we don't have to. So our committee temporarily removed all $5 million out of the budget as a recommendation. 3 weeks later, the commission, this agency came back in with a contract for $4 million. The exact same contract. We're not done there. We'll ask them to do the performance measures and let other people bid it. But the one thing that we've learned is that change is very difficult for bureaucracy. Even positive and necessary change. In many circles of Topeka, there's a level of acceptance that everything is fine. Despite the warning signs, there is a level of entrenched complacency. And there are groups who see those wanting positive and necessary change as a threat and not as an opportunity. They are supported and encouraged by the media, and they are ready to vilify anyone who suggests we can do better. If we're going to create jobs and opportunities, empower the individual, we simply cannot have the mindset that we cannot do better. That doesn't work in the private sector, and it cannot work in government.
This morning, many of you may have heard that Governor Brownback made the first selection to the Kansas Court of Appeals under our new system for appellate court selection. We still have the Missouri plan with respect to our selection of Supreme Court justices, but our Court of Appeals is now selected in what I think is the best system, something akin to the federal system of judicial selection. The point I want to make, and I was glad to see it, even in the first article that was printed by the Kansas City Star, a very fair article this morning about what a outstanding selection the governor made in selecting Caleb Stegall. And some, because Caleb is governor's chief counsel, will criticize the selection. But I would just say, in my getting close to now to 20 years of practice, there is no more outstanding attorney in the state of Kansas than Caleb. He's a brilliant attorney, a man of absolute principle, and will do a tremendous job on the Court of Appeals. And the last thing I'll say about that is that I love the fact that now that this appointment has been made, every Kansan will have an opportunity to look at Caleb. Caleb, some might be surprised, yes, he's the governor's counsel, he's a conservative guy. One of the people endorsing him today was former Democrat Attorney General Steve Six. That might surprise some folks, but the reality is that's how outstanding Caleb is. He has broad support. People in the legal community know Caleb is as good as it gets.